Hello everyone, good day and God bless. I just wanted to let you guys know we had a really good class last week. I'm just going to do a brief review of what we did last week, namely working with the scales, the chords, some arpeggios, and the chord progressions for that new song that we were dabbling with in C. Okay, so what we did last week as far as scales were concerned, I kind of quizzed everyone. We worked off the sixth string doing 2 octaves of the scale, and I asked everyone, okay, using your sixth string as the guide for the first note of the scale, show me where this scale would be. Okay, so we know the shape for the G major scale, the 3-5, 2-3-5, boom, 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 boom. So we know that one. All right, using that same form, if I said show me where an A sharp major scale would be, you would find it by using the same method of just identifying each note on each fret. Let's try to deviate from doing the numbers so often. So we're just gonna employ the whole. Okay, that's an F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, until you get to the desired note on the fret, and then you would do the scale, that same shape that you would use for the G major. So right, that's what we did. However, I have just a little bit of an addition to make to help everyone to understand this process and maybe go into it a little bit faster when and if you have to. So instead of using any finger, just kind of like go up and down the frets just to see like where that desired note is. Use your middle finger, because that's the finger that you're going to use in doing this scale to start the scale. So that way, when you find that note on the fret, all you have to do is just kind of go into the scale itself, and you'll be fine. So if I said, okay, show me where a C major scale would be on your sixth string, all you do is you take the middle finger and do that method, F sharp, boom, 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 until you get to your 8th fret, and you'll have your middle finger already there, and you could just go right into it. And you're right there. All right, and you do that with everything, but just instead of using any finger, use the middle finger, because that's the finger that you would start that scale on. Okay, we did the scale from the 5th string, and we did the same kind of a thing. Okay, so okay, but to make things easier, we just did 1 octave, and that's fine. So I said, okay, instead of let's do the C major, 3-5, 2-3-5, 2-4-5. Okay, show me where a D sharp major would be, and we went right, we did the method of finding that, and we went D sharp major, boom, we're right there, and we were right there. Okay, so we were able to use that method for both the 6th string and the 5th string. I'm not sure if we did the circle of 5s or the arpeggios. This kind of, okay, if we did, do the same method of identifying the notes, like C, arpeggio, G, major arpeggio, and then go a whole step and identify that note. So that would be a D, and that would be an A, and so on. So this would be an E, and this would be a B. Right, and just keep going. The idea with this is your 5th note. Okay, so if you did a C major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? I'm just going by the numbers of the notes, not the fret numbers. 1, 2, 3, right? Your third note there is your fifth in the scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But when you do the arpeggio, you're hitting like the three notes here. 1, 2, 3. The fifth note of the C major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth note of the major scale is equivalent to the next scale you're going to do. So the fifth note of the scale, if you remember your C major chord, it's C, E, G. C, E, G is that's the G on your fifth fret of your fourth string. That's a G. And your third fret, as you know, of your sixth string is a G. So that G is going to be the next scale that you're going to do. All right, so from the C, C, E, G, and then you have C, G, E, C. And then you go up to the G, G, B, D, G, D, B, G. All right, I know I shut out a lot of notes there, but the primary concern is, okay, do your scale first, just to get a better understanding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just go by the number of notes in the scale till you get to 5. And then you match the note with the lower note of the octave. What should happen there, if you're really looking, you'll see that the fifth fret and the third fret, fifth fret of the fourth string, third fret of the sixth string are the same notes. All right, so every time in the shape, because you're going to move this, so when you move it, the fret numbers are going to change. So that's why I said to your primary concern is going to be the shape of that arpeggio, right? Go above to get that lower octave, and you'll know exactly what that next scale is going to be. And then the same thing, right? So high, low. Once you get to 1, and that's why I was saying 1, 2, 3 at the beginning. 1, 2, 3, right? When you get to 3, which is the fifth note of the scale, we'll go over this in class, go to your sixth string. You'll find the identical note, and that's the note that you're going to use on your sixth string to do the next arpeggio. So and so on. Okay, so that's the idea that we use for the arpeggios. The general concern for all of this at this point in time in the session is to not to necessarily continue going on with the numbers of the notes, just not the numbers, or the frets, I should say. It's the notes. Identify the frets with notes. Okay, so C, right? G. And then you have D, A, E, B. That's the general concern that you want to be focused on. Okay, so the next thing that we worked on were the chords. I did a little experiment on showing like the difference between majors and minors. That's okay. We're not gonna go too far into that. But what we will do is just get a general knowledge of where your roots are. Because this is one thing that I didn't really touch base on. We did open chords, where you're doing the C major chord, okay, and you could use the your third fret, fifth string. That's a C, and you could proceed to play the rest of the strings from the fifth string down. So your root would be that heavy C, boom, right? And I said usually when you have chords like that in the open position, that's your root will be your heaviest string out of the rest of the strings that you're pressing down on. However, when you're doing something like an A minor chord, your A, you have an open A here, and the strings or the frets that you're pressing down on, there's the next A that you would find is the one that your ring finger is pressing down on, which is the second fret of your third string. But that's not the heaviest string of all the frets that you're pressing down on. Your root is actually located on an open string, which is your fifth string, and it's open. Okay, right? So you would hit the open string and then the rest of the strings that you're pressing down on. Okay, so these are just little tidbits of information because we're going to run into those things as we continue on. Okay, I'm not sure if we did the bar chords yet, but bar chord, let's say we are doing a G. A bar chord would be when you're barring the entire third fret and you're putting your ring finger on the fifth string, seventh fret. Your pinky would go on the fifth fret of the fourth string. The middle finger would go on the fourth fret of the third string. Okay, so it should look like that, and it would same kind of sound, right? So it has a little bit of a different kind of a sound. They call it a power chord or a bar chord. It's got a full kind of a sound to it. It's just a matter of preference. Where people will use, they like the open position or more of the bar chords per se. Anyway, so these are the bar chords that we're going to use. It should look like that from your sixth string. Your root being, of course, your sixth string, and then the rest of the strings. I'm not sure if we did from the fifth string, bar chords from the fifth string. If not, here's a brief intro of how that should look. You're going to bar your strings from the fifth string down. You're going to bar your third fret from the fifth string down. You're going to take your middle finger. You're going to put that on the fifth fret of the fourth string. Middle finger goes on the fifth fret of the fourth string. Ring finger goes on the fifth fret of the third string. And pinky would go on the fifth fret of the second string. And you just... That's how that should sound. This and this are a little bit different because we're hitting notes that are going further up in pitch. They're the same notes, but the pitch is a little bit higher. So that's what you're hearing. That's a G. And the G's in there, but it's not as high as that first string where the G is located. Okay? So those are some little things with the C and the G, or the bar chords, I should say, of C and G. Okay? And the chord progression, say, of C and G. Okay? And the chord progression that we worked on was from the C, and then we did a C major 7, and then we did an A minor, and then we did an A sus2. All right, and I had another name for that chord, but I don't want to confuse anyone. So it was 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. And the idea, let's just tune that for a second. The idea with the chord changes is I was calling out different things, and one of the things I said, I was doing the tempo, and then I said point. All right, and point is if you're doing a C major, 2, 3, 4, you just raise your pointer finger to make it a C major 7. Me saying point is just release the finger so you could hit the seventh, the major seventh, which is the B. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, refer to the tab on the handouts, the tablature for the melody. So it would be that last part. You can just hit one note if you want. I'm not sure if I put two of these on it, the two C's, but if not, it would be technically the N was just one note. So little difference, it will be. Like that. Okay, hope this helps, and I think there's another handout that I'm going to give out on Tuesday. So enough said. I thank you guys very much, and I look forward to meeting up with you guys again. All right, good day and God bless.